All right, let's jump right in. We're doing a deep dive on AFCON today, specifically the 2025 tournament. The final draw just went down in Rabat, Morocco, and we're going to break it all down. We're looking at this article from Morocco World News to guide us.
You know what's crazy to me? Morocco is hosting AFCON so soon after their amazing World Cup run last year. They made it to the semifinals. It really shows how much African football is on the rise globally.
No kidding. It's huge for them. And speaking of Morocco, their AFCON journey starts in Group A, where they'll be facing Mali, Zambia, and Comoros.
Oh man, Group A. That's going to be interesting. Morocco will want a strong start, especially playing at home, but they can't underestimate anyone in that group.
For sure, especially Mali. They've been in the AFCON final twice recently, so they're no joke. But I'm curious about Zambia. They've had their ups and downs, but they can be a real threat, right? Do you think they still have what it takes to make a run for the top spot?
Zambia is a bit of a wild card, you know. They've always had talented players, but lately their form has been all over the place. The key for them will be finding that spark again, that Chepolopolo spirit that made them champions back in 2012.
Yeah.
If they get that back, they could shake things up.
And then there's Comoros, the real underdogs. But remember, they're upset against Ghana in the last tournament. Who knows what they're capable of? Think they could pull off another surprise.
Comoros, they love to defy expectations. They showed everyone they can hang with the big boys, and now they'll be coming in with a ton of confidence. It'll be interesting to see how they approach this group, especially that match against Morocco. Talk about David versus Goliath. That could be one of the biggest moments of the group stage.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to Group B. We've got a potential rematch brewing there. Egypt and South Africa. Remember that 1998 quarterfinal?
Oh, yeah, that was a wild one.
Controversial calls, a late goal, so much tension.
Total grudge match.
And to make things even spicier, we've got Angola and Zimbabwe in the mix.
Yeah, this group is far from predictable. What's interesting about Group B is you have such different styles of play. You've got Egypt, known for being super tactical and organized. And then you have South Africa, who love to use their physicality, a more direct approach. Plus, Angola and Zimbabwe both have players who can just turn it on and change the game in an instant. It's a clash of philosophies, which should make for some really fun football.
Now, Group C is where things get really interesting, I think. We've got two powerhouses going head-to-head, Nigeria and Tunisia. But don't forget about Uganda and Tanzania. They're no slouches. This is shaping up to be an absolute battle royale.
Group C is interesting because you have these two giants, Nigeria and Tunisia. They're all about dominating possession, controlling the pace.
Yeah.
But then you have Uganda, who are defensively rock solid. They could really disrupt the rhythm of those more attacking teams. And Tanzania, they love to counterattack. They could exploit any defensive weaknesses. It's the classic test of whether a more pragmatic approach can beat pure talent and firepower.
Okay, Group D time. This one jumps out right away because we've got the reigning champions, Senegal, along with potential giant slayers, DR Congo and Benin. And Botswana rounds out the group.
Group D is a real test for Senegal. Can they handle the pressure of being the champs? DR Congo has always had the talent, but can they find consistency? And Benin, they can be a real pain for the bigger teams with their defense and quick counterattacks. It's a group where Senegal should be the favorites, but they'll need to be at their best to avoid any slip-ups.
Group E features two teams known for their attacking flair, Algeria and Burkina Faso. But hold on, don't count out Equatorial Guinea and Sudan just yet.
Algeria is definitely the team to watch in Group E, I think. Their style is all about possession, patient build-up, quick passing. It's a joy to watch when they're clicking. Burkina Faso is more direct. They rely on their pace and power to unsettle opponents. It'll be interesting to see if they can disrupt Algeria's rhythm and impose their own style. Equatorial Guinea and Sudan, yeah, they might be outsiders. But in a tournament like this, you never know. Upsets happen.
And last but definitely not least, Group F fans are already going crazy over this one. It's got the heavyweights, Ivory Coast and Cameroon, along with Gabon and Mozambique. Is this the group of death?
Group F is definitely one everyone's talking about. You got Ivory Coast and Cameroon, both with incredible histories and both hungry to get back on top. They've got so much talent and experience. Every match between them is going to be a war.
I can only imagine the atmosphere in the stadium when those two clash.
It's going to be electric. Then you add Gabon, who always seems to have a few players who can cause problems for anyone. And Mozambique, they might be the underdogs, but they've got a young team that wants to prove themselves. This group is going to be unpredictable and full of drama.
No doubt. Okay, we've gone through all the groups now. And it's clear this AFCON is going to be packed with storylines. But let's step back from the groups for a sec and talk about Morocco as the host. It's a pretty big deal, right?
It's massive. It shows how far Moroccan football has come. hosting AFCON after their World Cup run. That's a statement. They've got fantastic facilities, passionate fans, and a team that wants to make history at home.
Oh, I remember watching their World Cup games. The atmosphere was incredible. Their fans were amazing. It must be such a source of pride for them to host this tournament.
Absolutely. The FRMF president, Fouzi Lekjaa, he's talked about this being a stepping stone to even bigger things, like their bid for the 2030 World Cup. He sees AFCON as a chance to show everyone what Morocco can do as a footballing nation and to inspire the next generation.
It's not just about winning for them, they're thinking long term. It's cool how they're using this as a chance to grow.
And it's not just Morocco that benefits. CAF President Patrice Motsepe has said this tournament is about more than just football. He sees it as a way to bring the whole continent together, a celebration of African culture and talent.
I love that. Bringing people together through their love of the game gives me chills just thinking about it. Okay, but before we get too carried away with all the feel-good stuff, let's get back to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, let's get tactical.
Back to Group A, Morocco's first challenge. Mali, Zambia, and Comoros. We touched on the threats each team poses, but let's look at their recent form and head-to-head matchups.
Well, Morocco and Mali have played each other a couple of times recently, and both times it was a draw. They were tight games, really tactical, like a chess match.
So there's a bit of a rivalry already brewing there.
For sure, it adds another layer to their upcoming clash. Now, with Zambia, it's been a while. Their last match was a friendly, which Morocco won.
Not much to go on there, though.
Well, it suggests Morocco has had the upper hand in the past. But Zambia can be unpredictable. They can step up their game against the best. And then there's Comoros. They've actually never played Morocco in an official match.
Oh, wow. So it's complete unknown. No history or baggage to consider.
Exactly. Makes their match in Group A even more exciting. It's a blank slate. Anything can happen.
Love it. Unpredictability is what makes tournament football so great. Looking at all this, do you think Morocco can cruise through Group A? Or will they have to fight for every point?
On paper, they should be the favorites. Home advantage, talented squad, a coach with a good track record. But you know what the biggest danger is? Complacency. Mali will be looking for revenge after those draws. Zambia is always capable of a surprise. And Comoros, they'll be playing with the hopes of an entire nation on their shoulders.
Talk about pressure.
Exactly. Morocco needs to be at their absolute best to make it to the knockout stages. It's not just about winning, it's about making a statement.
Okay, Morocco needs to hit the ground running. But let's zoom in on Mali for a second. They've been so close to AFCON glory, reaching the final twice but falling short. What makes them such consistent contenders?
Mali's strength is their tactical discipline and their team spirit. It's really inspiring. They might not have the superstars of some other teams, but they're incredibly well organized and they never give up. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty, and that makes them tough to beat.
So a team that's greater than the sum of its parts. I like that. But they must have some key players we should watch out for.
Absolutely. Their captain, Yves Bazuma, he's a midfield maestro, controls the tempo, breaks up attacks, has an eye for a killer pass. He's the engine that makes them go.
Sounds like a true leader. How about their attack? Anyone who can score the goals.
They have Amadou Haidara, a young midfielder who's already doing big things in Europe. So much energy, loves to drive forward and can score from distance. He's the spark that ignites their attack.
He sounds dangerous.
And then you have Moussa Djenepo, a skillful winger with blazing speed. He can create chaos in the final third, a nightmare for defenders.
So we've got the engine, the spark, and the chaos maker. That's a pretty potent midfield trio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't forget their solid defense and experienced goalkeeper. They're a well-rounded team, capable of hurting you in a lot of ways.
Wow, they sound like the real deal. Given all their strengths, do you think this could finally be Mali's year to win it all?
They definitely have the potential. They've been reaching later stages consistently. They're tactically mature, which makes them a real contender. But facing Morocco on their home turf, that's a huge challenge. And let's not forget Zambia and Comoros. Group A is wide open, and every single match is going to matter.
This is AFCON. Anything can happen. But before we move on to Zambia, let's think about how Mali's performance in this group could impact the whole tournament.
That's a good point. If they come out strong and top the group, it'll send a message to everyone else. But if they struggle, if they show any weaknesses, it could give other teams hope, make them believe they have a chance at the title.
So Mali's performance in Group A could be a sign of things to come. I never thought of it that way. All right, let's move on to Zambia. We've talked about their inconsistency, but what are their strengths? And who are their key players we should be watching?
Zambia, they often embody this spirit of Chipolopolo. It means the copper bullets, which is their nickname. They're known for their attacking flair, their never-give-up attitude, and their ability to produce moments of individual brilliance.
So we can expect some fireworks from them.
Absolutely. They have players who can dribble past anyone, score amazing goals. They can create something out of nothing. Their challenge is doing it consistently.
So the potential for brilliance, but also for frustration. Classic Zambia. Tell me about their key players. Who should we be watching?
Keep an eye on Patson Daka, their star striker. He's been on fire for Leicester City. His pace could be a real problem for even Senegal's defense. He's got pace, power, and a knack for finding the back of the net. He's the kind of player who can win a game on his own.
But hasn't Daka been struggling a bit lately? Maybe this is his chance to redeem himself on the international stage.
Yeah, his form has dipped a little recently.
Yeah.
But that might make him even more determined to prove himself in this tournament. The AFCON stage could be the perfect place for him to get his confidence back and show everyone what he can do.
Okay, Daka's one to watch. Anyone else?
They also have Enoch Wimapu, their dynamic midfielder. He can control a game with his passing and vision. He's the one pulling the strings in midfield, creating chances for his teammates.
So he's the brains of the operation.
Exactly. And we can't forget about Fashion Sakala, their tricky winger. He can be a real handful for defenders with his skills and speed.
Another team with a strong attack. I'm seeing why you said Group A is so unpredictable.
And we haven't even talked about Comoros yet.
Oh, right. The fairy tale team from the last AFCON. They came out of nowhere to reach the knockout stages in their first appearance. What's the secret to their sudden rise?
It's a few things, really. They've got a talented group of players, many of whom play in top European leagues. That gives them valuable experience.
So they're not just a team of local heroes anymore.
Exactly. Playing at a higher level has made them more confident and organized. Their coach, Amir Abdou, has been a huge part of their transformation. He's instilled a belief in the team, and they play with a tactical discipline they didn't have before.
So he's the mastermind behind their tactics.
Absolutely. And he's created a real sense of unity within the squad. They're more than just a team. They're a family. And that kind of bond can take you a long way in a tournament like this.
That's awesome to hear. What are their expectations for this tournament? Can they repeat their success from last time?
They'll definitely be coming in with more confidence this time. They've tasted success, they know they can compete, and they'll want more.
Yeah.
Reaching the knockout stages again would be a fantastic achievement for them.
So they're not just happy to be there, they're aiming high. That's the right attitude to have. Who are some of their key players we should watch?
Well, their captain, El Fardu Ben Nabuhain, he's a real talismanic figure. He's a clinical finisher, a leader on the pitch. He has a knack for scoring important goals.
So he's the one they rely on to get the goals.
Exactly. Yusuf Mchangama, their creative midfielder, is another one to watch. He can unlock defenses with his passing, score from set pieces, and is a threat from distance.
He sounds like a complete midfielder.
And then there's Faiz Selemani, a tricky winger with incredible speed. He can cause all sorts of problems in the final third.
So a good mix of experience and youthful energy.
Exactly. That's what makes them so dangerous. They might be the underdogs in Group A, but they could surprise some people.
I'm excited to see how their story unfolds. It's great to see a small island nation making a name for themselves on the continental stage.
It really is. It reminds you that anything is possible with belief, hard work, and a little bit of magic.
I love it. So we've covered Morocco's Group A opponents, Mali, Zambia, and Comoros. What a group.
It's going to be a fascinating battle for the top spot. No easy games for the Atlas Lions.
Agreed. But this is just the start of our journey through the groups. There's so much more to explore, so many more stories to uncover. Ready to dive into Group B?
Let's do it. Bring on the tactical analysis, the upsets, and the amazing football. Group B, man, there's some history there. You got to think back to '98 when Egypt knocked South Africa out in that crazy quarterfinal.
Oh, man, that game was intense. All those controversial calls, the late goal, the tension.
Totally. You can just imagine how intense it'll be when they meet again this time around. It's going to be a battle for bragging rights, and I bet the fans will be going wild.
I'm already getting hyped up just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about Angola and Zimbabwe. They might not have the same rivalry, but they can definitely cause some upsets.
Absolutely. Angola, for instance, they have this unpredictable flair. They have players who can just conjure up magic, dribbling past defenders, scoring incredible goals. They're the kind of team that keeps you guessing, which makes them so tough to play against.
That's what makes tournaments like this so exciting.
Exactly. And then you have Zimbabwe. They're known for their resilience, their never-say-die attitude. They might not be the flashiest team, but they'll fight you tooth and nail.
Sounds like Group B is going to be a wild ride. Okay, moving on to Group C, where we have Nigeria and Tunisia. Two absolute giants.
This group is all about contrasting styles, you know. You've got Nigeria, the Super Eagles, known for their attacking flair, their individual brilliance. They love to dominate possession, play a fast-paced game, and it's just so exciting to watch.
Nigeria always seems to have some of the most entertaining players.
For sure. They've got the pace, the power, the skills. They can score goals from anywhere on the pitch. Then you have Tunisia, the Eagles of Carthage. They're much more tactical. Known for their organization and defense, they're happy to sit back, absorb pressure, and then hit you on the counterattack.
So it's like the irresistible force versus the immovable object.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the edge in this matchup?
It's a tough one to call, really. Nigeria might have the edge in terms of individual talent, but Tunisia are proven winners. Don't underestimate their tactical awareness and their ability to frustrate opponents.
It's going to be a fascinating battle of tactics, for sure. But wait, we also have Uganda and Tanzania in this group. Can they pull off an upset?
Uganda has been quietly building a really strong team. They're defensively very sound, very organized, and they've shown they can get results against some tough teams. If they can frustrate Nigeria and Tunisia, they might just sneak into the knockout stages. Tanzania, they're a bit more of an unknown quantity. They're a team that's been improving, and they have some young players who could cause problems for the bigger teams.
So Group C is another one to watch closely. Now let's talk about Group D, where we find Senegal, the defending champions.
Yeah, all eyes will be on Senegal to see if they can do it again. They're a team full of confidence, and they have Sadio Mane, one of the best players in the world.
You say Senegal's the favorite, but their qualifying campaign wasn't exactly smooth sailing. Do you still think they're that strong?
That's true. They haven't been as dominant as they were a couple of years ago. But you can never write off a team with that much talent and experience. They still have what it takes to go all the way, but they'll need to find their consistency again.
So they have something to prove. Makes it even more interesting. What about their opponents? Can anyone challenge Senegal in Group D?
DR Congo is a team that always seems to be on the cusp of greatness. They have a history of producing fantastic players, but they often struggle to perform consistently as a team. If they can find that consistency, if they can gel as a unit, they could give Senegal a real run for their money.
So they're the sleeping giants of Group D.
You can say that. And then there's Benin. They might not have the star power of Senegal or DR Congo, but they're a very well-organized team, hard to beat.
Yeah.
They defend well and can be deadly on the counterattack.
Another potential banana skin for Senegal.
Exactly. They can't afford to take anyone lightly. And then you have Botswana. They might be the underdogs, but they always seem to overachieve. They play with a lot of heart and determination.
Okay, on to Group E, where we have Algeria, a team that's been absolutely dominant in recent years.
Algeria, the 2019 champions, they've been playing some beautiful football. Their possession-based style is so effective. Patient build-up, quick passing, intricate movement, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Their style is mesmerizing. They make it look so easy. But they must face some stiff competition in this group, right?
Burkina Faso is always a tough opponent, for sure. They play with a lot of physicality, a lot of intensity. They're not afraid to get stuck in and disrupt the flow of the game. They're also very dangerous from set pieces, so Algeria will have to be careful.
A real test of Algeria's composure and discipline, then.
Absolutely. And then you have Equatorial Guinea and Sudan. They might be considered outsiders, but they're both capable of an upset. Equatorial Guinea has shown they can compete at this level, and Sudan has a history of producing some talented players.
So another group with potential for surprises.
Definitely. That's what makes AFCON so unpredictable and exciting to watch.
Okay, and now for the grand finale, the group everyone's been talking about. Group F, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Gabon, Mozambique. What a lineup. So much history, so much talent, and so much potential for drama.
It's the group of death, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You've got two former champions, Ivory Coast and Cameroon, both desperate to get back to the top. Those matches are going to be like heavyweight fights, full of passion and intensity.
I can just imagine the atmosphere when those two teams meet.
Electric. And then you add Gabon, a team that always seems to have a few players who can cause problems for anyone. And Mozambique, they're the underdogs, but they have a young, hungry team, nothing to lose.
Group F is going to be a feast of football.
No doubt about it. Everyone will be watching this group. I have a feeling it's going to produce some of the most memorable moments of the whole tournament.
I can't wait. So we've explored all 6 groups, and it's clear that AFCON 2025 is going to be an incredible tournament.
It's going to be a celebration of African football, a showcase of talent, passion, and tactical innovation. I'm counting down the days.
Me too. But before we get lost in all the excitement of the matches, let's take a moment to appreciate the bigger picture here.
You're right. AFCON is more than just a football tournament. It's a cultural event. It's about national pride. It's a symbol of unity for the entire African continent.
Absolutely. And with Morocco hosting this year, it takes on even greater significance. Their World Cup success, their investments in football, their passionate fans, they're the perfect hosts.
Morocco has a chance to show the world their vibrant culture, to inspire a new generation of African footballers.
It's Morocco's moment to shine on the global stage, and I think they're going to make it count.
I agree. This tournament has all the makings of something truly special, on and off the pitch.
So as we look ahead to the kickoff of AFCON 2025, let's not just focus on the goals and the results. Let's also appreciate the cultural impact, the human stories, the unifying power of this event.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, how about a quick break before we dive into the final part of our AFCON deep dive?
Sounds good to me. I need a minute to process all this and get ready for what's next. Okay, we're back, and it's time for the final part of our AFCON deep dive. We've looked at the groups, analyzed the teams, and now, the big question. Predictions.
This is the fun part, but also the toughest. There's so much talent, it's like trying to predict the weather in a tornado.
I know, right? But that's what makes it so exciting. So, who do you think will lift the trophy?
If I had to pick one, I'd say Morocco. They've got the home advantage, a really talented squad, and a coach who knows how to win. Plus, after that World Cup run, they'll be playing with a lot of confidence.
Wow, going with the home team. I like it. But you said it yourself, AFCON is full of surprises, so who else could challenge Morocco?
Well, Senegal is still a force to be reckoned with. They're the defending champs. They have a team full of world-class players. Sadio Mane, for example. Yeah, their qualifying wasn't perfect, but I wouldn't count them out just yet.
True, never underestimate the heart of a champion. What about some of the other big names? Egypt, Algeria, Ivory Coast. Do you think they have a shot?
Egypt and Algeria are always in the mix. Egypt has Mohamed Salah, one of the best goal scorers on the planet, and Algeria plays that beautiful possession football, so tough to break down. Ivory Coast has a good mix of youth and experience. They could be dangerous too.
So many contenders. What qualities do you think will be crucial for a team to win it all?
Tactical flexibility, for sure. Being able to adapt to different opponents, different situations, that's huge. And mental toughness. This tournament is a marathon, not a sprint. The teams that can handle pressure, bounce back from setbacks, stay focused, those are the ones that'll be there at the end.
So it's not just about individual talent, it's about the team's strength, their tactics, their mentality.
Exactly. And a little bit of luck never hurts either.
Of course. Gotta have that luck on your side. Okay, let's shift gears for a second and talk about some individual storylines. There are so many players who could have breakout performances in this tournament.
Yeah, one of the big stories is Sadio Mane trying to cement his legacy.
Yeah.
He's already achieved so much, but winning back-to-back AFCON titles, that would be incredible.
He's a legend already, but another win would put him in a class of his own. Who are some other players you're excited to see?
I'm really curious to see how Achraf Hakimi does for Morocco. He's one of the best fullbacks in the world, and playing at home, he could be a game changer.
Hakimi is amazing. He can do it all. Attack, defend, score goals, create chances.
And then there's Mohamed Salah. Can he finally lead Egypt to the title?
That would be something special. He's a global superstar, but winning AFCON would mean the world to him and to Egypt.
Absolutely. And these are just a few of the big names. Every AFCON, we see new stars emerge, players who come out of nowhere and make a name for themselves.
I can't wait to see who those breakout stars will be. So much potential for amazing moments and unexpected heroes.
That's the beauty of AFCON. Always full of surprises, drama, and passion.
This deep dive has got me so hyped for the tournament to start.
Me too. It's going to be a fantastic showcase of African football at its best.
And with Morocco as the host, it feels like something special is about to happen.
I couldn't agree more. This AFCON has all the ingredients to be one we remember for years to come.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AFCON 2025. We've explored the groups, we've analyzed the teams, and now all that's left is to enjoy the tournament.
We'll be back throughout the tournament to break down the action, analyze the big moments, and celebrate the heroes who emerge from this incredible event. Until then, stay tuned and get ready for an amazing month of football.
That's all from us, folks. See you on the other side of the pitch.